Okay.
So, Krishna, I have a question regarding the recordings.
Mhm.
Is uploaded to the batch one classroom?
Uh,
I
yeah,
don't see any folder actually, or am I missing anywhere?
let's see. I think I did it in the batch one. What? Yeah, I did it to the batch one. Let's see. We put that link in the classroom. I think we didn't place it in the classroom. So
Okay. When you get it, sometime can you just upload all the recordings to that?
yeah, recordings are there. I just have to get you a link.
Okay. Thank you.
So, uh, yeah, I posted in batch one, the folder.
Thanks, Krishna.
Any other questions, anyone, before we get started? Hopefully the tenants are up. I saw a notification that tenants are down this morning. Okay. So, last week we have seen how to use an API, how to call an API from Workday, right? And we have also seen the splitter functionality and how aggregators work. How can you split and aggregate between your records from one, basically within an integration. If you want to create a flat file, you can split records and then to create. So flat files are pretty simple. If you want to create them, you can also use a um, you can also use XSLT to build them. So you can probably write so XML to XML using an XSLT and convert into a CSV file or something within this studio itself. But we have used aggregator to do it. Either way, it's fine. So there are different ways to achieve things in the studio. So either way you do it, it's fine. Okay. So today we're going to see how to import a file and how to use that file and how to import a CSV file, use that file in your assembly itself, right? So quickly create a CSV file. I don't know if I have one. Okay, employee ID, comma, last name, comma, position ID, comma, let's do date. Employee ID 12345, comma, first name, password, comma, position ID, comma, let's put a date of 2018 dash 03 dash 03 12345 comma, Superman, comma, let's see, Metropolis 2018 0406 6. Let's do one more.
So if the client has a different date format, you can change it at the time when you're reading it, right?
Yep. You can write a Java util. I'll show you those functions. That's what the data. Amazon 20 meeting 0101. Okay. Save it. Put it on my desktop. Input.csv. So I have a CSV file ready right now. So what I have to do is I have to create a retrieval service and then import that file, right? So within that start here, I'm going to create that service. Go to services. Document retrieval, create retrieval service. You've created your retrieval service. Now, you have the file view, right? So before, I think I don't. Let's see. Yeah, so once I have my initiation done, I can use a palette or component called document iterator. So it basically iterates just like a splitter, but instead of splitting through an XML, it splits through documents. If there are multiple documents. Let's go and create.
So for all the inbound interfaces, Krishna, like other than the template load, how we do with the inbound EIB. So in Workday, is it the only way we can load the data into Workday through Studio, or is there any other way where we can use the third-party application and load it into the Workday?
Okay, so inbound EIBs, right? So you have already seen those you can load data, and using Workday Studio, you can also load data. Those are the only two options, unless you are using a Workday API in your third-party application. So let's take I have my Workday change job application or change job API with me, and then I basically put the change job API in a third-party application like Delboomi or something, right? And you can call Workday from Delboomi. Just use that API. So you can also do that, but technically you can only upload data using. Let's not say Workday API. Let's say you can only upload data using Workday web services, right? And different forms of using those web services is you can use the web service in the EIB, inbound EIB. You can use the web service in a Studio program, or you can use the web service from an external endpoint or an external server.
Okay.
Okay. So I have my route. Document iterator. So within that route, I have a doc iterator. That function. I'm going to remove one route. I don't need it. And from start here, I'll do this, and then I'll connect my subroute to this. So if I go to my properties for doc iterator, so it's asking to give me a variable name, right? That is where it basically stores your information. So if I don't give a variable name, it automatically takes as wd.retrieve.variable, but I can give it a variable name. So I can store my file in a variable name and then push it through. Let's give input file. Okay. And then let me adjust this, I think, a little bit. So we have enough space to read that file. I'm going to put an async in front of it. So I'll put these initiation things before this. Control X. Come. Still don't need this right. I need this log. I leave copy as is. So within here, what I'll do is I'll put a copy. I'll actually move this copy in front. And in this copy, I'll say convert this variable, because I have a variable here, input file that's coming out, into a message. Yep. And I'm gonna use store to basically store that file out. So what I'm doing is I'm retrieving a file and storing that file. I just want to see what happens with that file. Just want to see if I have successfully uploaded or retrieved that file. Save everything. GMS. So I have added a retrieval service. So my integration has been updated. Deploy, finish. Within here, I go to my integration. And this is INT404. So now I should have an error saying I do have to configure it. There is no default business process or default definition for this event. And it is basically seeing a retrieval service, but there is no business process to initiate that retrieval service, right? So that's why it gave me an error. So what I'll do is I'll go to actions, integration system, configure or view integration retrieval, and then configure integration, configure document retrieval. Okay. Retention policy, give it a 30 days. So over here, we have already seen you can import files from your external location, right? So I can pick a transport type and get it from an external location, right? What I can also do is I can group to manually attach files. So I can attach a file to this integration and it considers it as a retrieved file, right? Integration admin. So who's going to attach a file is integration admin is going to attach a file. So I'm an integration admin. So this is a security group. It's a user-based security group that we're assigning it. So everyone in the security group will have a task to assign it. Whoever assigns it will run the integration. That's it. Done. Let's hope this works. Integration launch. Launch. Now it is asking me to attach a file. Okay. Attach a document. Okay. Respond.
So normally in a live integration, sometimes, the client drops a file on an FTP server, we pick it up, then we, process the file and that can be on a daily basis or as soon as the file gets dropped. So if I had that case in terms of document retrieval, instead of manually attaching it, uploading it a file, so in the Work Studio, I'm sure there is a way to provide that path, right?
Yep. So when I go to my integration, so go to business process, integration BP, and then configure document retrieval like we did. And currently I picked this option. Group to manually attach files, right? So that's configured integration.
You do have external location. Okay.
Retrieve files from external
location. Missed that.
And you can pick an SFTP.
Got it.
Or you can
okay. Yeah, missed. I didn't see that. Thank you.
And within that, right, within that SFTP, you have an SSH or username as well. And you don't have a dual authentication before, so you only have these two.
Yeah, and that's where you were saying that you may want to create a separate user for that. And sometimes client gives you the user because when you're pulling the file, they want you to use their user ID and a password. So you can do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So it will be SFTP user ID and password. So whatever the user that the vendor provides us most of the time.
Right.
Process integration event. Let's see. Let's wait for it. Hope I did not forget anything. So you have 3 output files, and text.text should be our input file that we have provided, right? Yeah. So this is our input file that we provided. So we have successfully imported a file, right? So what did we use to do it is nothing but within initiation, I created a retrieval service, so I can retrieve that document from any external location, or I can attach the document within when I'm launching the integration. After that, I used one palette called route, and then within that, I have a strategy called doc iterator. So doc iterator, what it does is if you have multiple documents coming in, right? So in a case, you might pick up like 4 or 5 documents from an external location, and you want to just route through each document so you can process that document and go to the next document. You don't want all the documents to be at this. Well, it's very easy to do it this way because you can go through one document, read it through, and then do actions on the document or upload the document into the tenant, and then you get to another document and then do it, right? So similar to Splitter, why you are splitting multiple records into each record before processing, you do the same thing with documents also. So that's where you have multiple files, you use this doc iterator strategy. Okay? And then I gave it a variable name saying input.file. So what this means is whatever the file that comes into my doc iterator, store it in this variable. So my input file is the variable name, right? So what I've done is next I've used that variable as an input for a copy, and I converted that variable into a message. Okay, and then I'm storing that message using a store. Very simple. So now we have successfully retrieved the document. Right? So now what we'll do is we'll use. Anyone have a question? So we'll use a palette called CSV to XML to convert this CSV file into an XML. So you have so many transformers. So you have your CSV to XML. That's what we need. Putting in here. So you have your CSV to XML taking an input message of whatever the message that comes out of this copy, which is our input file, and converts into the output message. You can also convert it into variable if you want. Okay. Column names. You can give it a column name, so it converts it to XML tags. Or you can say, use first line as header to true. Okay. That's where it will use the first line as the header and use those names in the first line as your XML tags. Okay. You can also specify the format. Anybody remember the format RFC 480 or something? Let's see. CSV format RFC. It's RFC 4180. Maybe, yeah. I think that's it. but you don't have to give it. I mean, technically it will take. If you have like double quotes within your CSV file, and you have to make sure that within that, let's take you have a comma in your record, right? And your CSV file you're expecting will definitely have a double quote in it. So in that case, you will use an RFC 4180 to make sure that it converts the double quote also into a record. Okay, next we'll get to that. I think I have it in this XML. No, okay. Anyway, it's not really required. So now I have my copy converting my CSV. Using my CSV XML, I translate my message into XML and then I store it. Let's just see it. And I'm gonna change. My file name is still getting it from the sequence, right? The sequence that we have initiated here. So let's go deploy. Wherever you do attach a document, it automatically resets to retrieve file from a location. It's like I don't know why they haven't fixed it, but if you have an external location, whenever you deploy it, it won't reset. So right now, what it is doing is the retrieval service is resetting itself once I deploy my code into retrieve files from external location, and it's giving me an error. Typically, that won't happen. So. And then I want to change my sequence name so that I get an XML file as an output. Configure integration sequence generators. Input XML.xml. Okay. Input.csv. Let's pull this through. Completed. Okay. So we have used two tags called root row, and then it is now using employee ID, first name, position ID, and date, the headers that you have given, okay, into your tags, and then you have your data elements. Okay, and then within the csv.xml, right? If you want to change the parent tags, you can change them here. Currently, that is defaulted to root, right? Root is your parent, row is your child, and employee ID goes on. If you want to change it to a different parent tag, if you want it, you can do it. Otherwise, root and row works fine.
Hey, Krishna.
Yep.
Have you seen a usage where Workday XML is better than Simple XML? Or usage-wise?
Yeah. I mean, some cases, right? I mean, when you're getting instances of values, you might want, for example, you might want a type of an address, right? And then type is an attribute within an address field. example, like work is my type, right? So address type equal to work, and then you get a value. So if you're getting multiple addresses and you want to make sure you're picking up work, if you get simple XML, right? So you get work in a different tag. You cannot, I mean, because you're getting address type as a field, you get work address type work in a different. Let me just write it down.
Right. Okay. Now I understand, because you in Workday you have various type of work types or address types.
Yeah. And then if you're using simple XML, you are getting a field called type, and then you'll get something like this work, and
Right.
then type.
Then you have to map it. You use the integration maps.
Yeah. You have to map it and then take what's really the work address. You might get both work and home address. But if you're using Workday XML, right, you'll get something like address, and then you'll get a descriptor or some type, the right syntax, but still it works. Type, and then yeah, type equal to work, and then you get your address value. In this case, when you're writing your XSLT, right, you'll say pick an address. Like my XSLT will look like something like this. XSL value of select, get me, I'm just doing address, where my descriptor or my type equal to work. That way it will only get this work, because you might also have the same line for a home as well.
Gotcha.
It will be easy in that way. And if you are using any Workday reference IDs or something, if you want to get them, Workday XML is best.
Okay. Well, thanks.
Did I miss something? Yeah. Excuse me. Okay. So I have my, so yeah, we converted into an XML. Wow. So we're pretty good in there. Now, so you want to use this records in a file, or I mean, you want to do something with those records, right? So you want to create the properties or put them in a variable so you can use it in a later stage. So right now you have your XML at this point. So at this point, you have your file, CSV file converted into an XML. So it is pretty simple, like what you're doing here. You can use props and then put those values in that file into your properties, right? Let's do it. Let's do okay. Let's do this. Let's put a local out here. Local out. Wait, where are you? Local out. File in. Put this. I'll give this a name. File out. And I'll connect my file out to my file in. I'll connect this here. File in, and I'm going to use an async now. And let's put a log at file in log. I have a line separator after that, and then I have like the text. And file in. So we use text in between to basically identify it in that server log, because server log is it has too much stuff. Okay. So I'm connecting my file in to here, and then over here. So now I have my async. So I have my message coming in from my CH with XML flowed into here, right? But now I'm getting this entire message. I'm getting this entire message. So if I want to read one record at a time within the file, so what do I have to do? Any suggestions, anyone? How do I read one record from this file? What do I have to use?
Within places give like one count.
No. So I have an XML right now, right? So I have my XML that's coming out of my CSV out of XML, right? So now I have to, basically what I'm trying to do is I'm taking only one record, and then using that record, I'll do something at the end. But in order to get to one record at a time, what do I have to use? So not count. Vivek probably, yeah, Vivek answered splitter. Is this Vivek? Assuming it's Vivek, yeah, splitter. You use a splitter. So it is similar to how you did on your report, right? In your report also, you got your XML. You want each record at a time flow through to the downstream assembly. So you use splitter. I will put a splitter right here. Okay. Then my strategy is export splitter. Same thing. Within that export, I have my export that I want to split root/row, right? So I have my root/row. So I'm splitting this record. Once that record is processed, I'm going to look for the second record. Okay. I'm going to put an async after this. Here. Now I can use properties. I can create props. Props of, let's get file dot. This is any name, but it's better to write it like this. File dot employee ID equal to parts of 0 dot xpath column open. I'm looking for row slash with this employee ID. Okay. So now I'm storing my first employee ID in this props. Similar way I write my other props. File dot first name That's also captured date. I captured file date, employee ID, and first name, right? Quick get syntax from my previous code. I think I have something here that this guy. So now we have all these three fields in here. I'm gonna quickly put it in a log, just to make sure we see the output. Where's my log? Log. I don't want message ID attached. So I'm looking for @ drops off file dot employee ID. Drops off file dot employee ID. Employee ID. And then I'll just keep date. I don't want all the other fields to be. It's good to get an idea, right? Get this date. Yeah. So there is this function. So if, right now we have your date in format, right? Year, month, and day, right? So you have your date in year, month, and day format, but you want to change it to let's say you want to change it to month, date, and year, or into a different format, right? So in order to do it, you can use a function called this, but a little bit. Let me confirm it. Okay. So you have your Java function. So what I did is file date parse. Let's do this first file. So what this function is doing here is it's creating a new Java date format function, right? It's a syntax. This is the Java syntax that you have to remember, or probably I have some cheat sheets that I can share, and you can get it from there. Rather than that, this date is basically this Java function is basically reading, and it can format, it can read a date, right? Or it can write a date. You can use a current date function as well, so you can get a current date without using any attributes or something within this code, something like this. So now what it is doing is it's saying, okay, parse my file date. Okay. So parse my file date, and I'm saying my file date is in a format of this. So what's my file date format? Year, month, day. So I have my y dot dash dd. So I'm parsing my date and putting it in this parse function, parse date or file date dot parse. And this function is basically trying to parse my file date, and I'm saying to the function that my date is in this format right now, right? And I can do something like this again and format it. Change this to format. Then within this function, I can write, instead of parse, I changed it to format. Okay. And then I use this here. And I want to change this to, let's do something like, yeah, let's do dd y. I'm going to print both of it as well. Question from Vivek. Thank you. No, my system is too slow today. It's responding bad. I'm going to put it in the logs as well. Let's see what this looks like. Parse, separate, paste. Format, this. Okay. Now I'm gonna just put a message to just end it. I don't want to do anything more than that right now. So the summary, nothing is needed. Parameters, info, summary, and okay. Now I do have two async mediations here that don't have any error logging. So in order to accomplish that, let me cut this guy. No, yeah, let me just remove this guy from here, and then I'll paste it here. And I'm gonna use send error function to send my error to this guy. So this is going to my error log. Okay. Now within this async, right, I do have an option called handle downstream errors. So currently I have an send error here, and I don't have a send error here, right? But within this assembly, if after the splitter, for example, I want to capture errors here as well, and I don't want to put an error log there, I can use something called handle downstream errors equal to true. And in that case, if something errors out here, it will go back to this error. It will basically come through this error out. Okay, it will come to this error and send error. We capture the error here, even though this guy does not have an error log. First place, right? So what I'm going to do is I have my file out, file in. I don't want this guy, so I'm going to connect this guy. So this is nothing but the other assembly we have. Right. This call subroutine is going through this entire assembly. It's calling the report and getting those values. So we currently don't need it because we don't have any dependency for the report yet. Okay. So I just removed it so it does not call now. So what my parent assembly does is initiate, document iterator, convert the file into a CSV file. Sorry, convert the file into an XML file, store the XML file, go to file out, which comes here, log the output, log the message after which is entering the file in, go to the splitter, split through each root and row, and then assign some values and parse the date, and then put an integration message. If anything errors out, error here. Okay. Very simple. I have an error somewhere. I have an error. My assembly is showing me an error. See anything? Deploy. TSP complex type 2.4 invalid content found starting with element splitter. This guy has been out. The backslash needed? I don't think so. Invalid content was found with element export splitter. So it is expecting a connection to the main SW. So when this guy does not have a connection, it's erroring out. Yeah, get it off. Yeah, now my error is resolved. Deploy. And fix business process, document retrieval. Okay. Group file, integration, admin. Okay, let it run. In my experience, this should error out. It did not good. Will I have an error log? Let's see. See, I have an error message. So my error message is saying my employee ID is null. I don't have a split message. No split message was generated, right? So what this means is no split message was generated. That the splitter that we are using here within our that is reading our message is not generating any output, right? In that case, only those errors will come up. Let's see. We have our logs here. We have our logs here. We have logs here. So let's see what's going on. Let's go back to our integration details. Server log. Okay. So that's done. So file in log. So what's our first log? We have a first log here. So what this log is doing is message content after write. So let's see, message content after write. Okay, we have message content after write. So we have our XML after write in that log. So we're good there, right? So we have our XML right here. At this point, we have our XML. But when I go to file in log, that's my second log. I'm expecting the same XML to be there, right? So I'm expecting the same XML to be there, but I do have a different XML here, which is entirely different from what we're supposed to have, right? Let me create. Yeah, I do have an entirely different XML. So why does this happen, right? So my message from here got changed to here, right? So not unmute. Okay, yeah. Any idea how it got changed? I have a message here. That's my XML output, CS with XML output. And when I go here, that got changed. I have an XML here, right? I'm expecting the same XML here as well within the filing log, but that's not happening. So Vivek got an answer. It's sending the file name, not the content of it. Kind of. That's what it's doing actually. So what's happening is, and you see, store is a very, very different component, right? So within your store when it stores a file, it creates a different message at all. I mean, it creates an entirely different message. So what it created is something like this. It is saying I've stored this document into the tenant with the name of this within this blobitory and what size I have stored. 208 is the bit size of the file, kind of thing, right? So what the store is creating is the store is creating an entirely new message, and what it's doing is it's replacing the current message that's in parts of 0. It is replacing the message with its own message. So until here, until here, I have my XML. I have my input file XML, right? But after store, I have the message that store produces, right? So store is critical here. So store produces a different message entirely. Okay. So in order to avoid such scenarios, so what we'll do is, once we create a CSV XML, we'll put this into a variable. Okay. Input XML. File.input XML. Okay. And if you want to store it, you can store it from that variable, file.input XML. And before doing your thing, you'll do a copy. If you want to use that file.xml in anywhere, what you'll do is you use a copy, use a variable, file.input XML. And then now your copy is replacing the store message with your XML again. That's the only use case of copy. Okay. Got it? Questions? Confusing? Easy? Okay. Nice. So that's clear. So we have cleared out our store. Let's deploy again. Let's see. Let's put an error message here. Redirect message. should not get an error. Okay, my bad. Got an error. Let's see. Still no. Oh, okay. Error in XPath message. Root part is not XML meme type. Okay, let's fix that. So I got an error here saying this is not an XML. So meme type, I have to change it to text XML. Deploy it again. So splitter only considers XML, but now when I did that, it is saying I don't have an XML to split. That's my error message, right? Or my error message is saying is error in split XPath splitter message to root part is not XML. The meme type is set to application something. So I just adjusted that. I'm gonna fly off again. Let's just see our error log before going back. Let's see our server log. Let's see if we have our XMLs working correctly. Okay. Still, my log is also not showing anything, so I think I need to change it. Hey, come on. What happened? What? Put integration message reference. What is this? Okay. Let's see that error, but before that, let's see our logs. I'll explain what that error is. Server log. Okay, the file in log has our original file. That's pretty good. Now we have our log started. So we have our log. So this is the log where we are storing the values, right? This is the log where we want to see all the employee ID, date, and everything. So I'm in that log right now. My employee ID, I got a date of 28 March, and then the parsing is basically it is basically reading through each possible date values, so you can use it in the later. So your formatted date is your March 3rd, 2018, which is the format that you asked it to give. You asked it month, day, and year, right? So it is reading from year, month, and date, and it is translating it into month, date, and year. Okay. Have your 20, and it translated to month, date, and year. That's one syntax of date format you can use. You can also get current date, and there are other date format syntaxes that you can use. You should find them in help. Help should have some values in there that you can use. And we do have an error, which I don't like. What is this? We do have an error here saying that the message reference, my put integration message response, has an issue. So I'm guessing this guy has an issue. So I don't think I have to put single quotes here, do I? Yeah, I do have to. Why did it error out then? Info. Info. And what? It's an interesting error. Today's date. If this word is any valuable. No, this is not the way. You have to do single quote, and pretty sure. Take trail. Okay. Anyways, I don't know what the error is. Let's not waste time. Might have caused by something else. Okay. So if there are any errors that we can't catch, there is one thing called global error handler. So I use it, and we have to use it in every code. Every studio assembly should have it. So what this global error handler does is, if there are any errors that you did not handle, right? You might have missed an error, or it might have caused a different error that you are not expecting it to, and you don't have a error handler created for that, right? For example, if something errored out here, right? I don't have an error handle here, so it will go nowhere. The integration just completes. So in order to capture such errors, we have something called global error handler. This is just your another palette, send error palette, and it goes to this. So whatever error happens within this assembly, if that is not handled in the sense if that is not, I mean, here the error is handled. If you get an error here, it will go into this put integration message. But if you get an error here, it will go nowhere. So such cases, right? You use this global error handler, so it will handle any other errors if you missed anything. Okay, I'm gonna move this guy. I don't like this. And we saw all our 3 records, right? All 3 converted success. We have our Batman, Wonder Woman. Yeah, everybody is in there. Okay, good. So we have seen how to use the file and how to get data. Right now, what else we should do? Let me see. Seen aggregator, we have seen route, we have seen async. So let's do the change job that we have done in our XSLT, right? In our API. Let's do it here. Did I save it or not? Oh my God. Okay. I didn't save it, so it's too much work now. Let's not do that. Um, not do that. Let's do hash maps. Okay. So hash maps is kind of an advanced topic. So you guys have already seen integration maps, and probably most of you have heard hash maps, what hash maps are. So hash maps are something like your, there are other items called M tables. So where you store certain values in a table, and then you call, or in a hash map, and then you call that hash map to verify if that value exists or not, or to get a different value within that hash map, right? So let's take, now I have, let's take, I have my input file that's coming in, and I do have to check whether a person is active or not. Okay. So I have, how do I do it? So I have like different ways to do it. Okay. Any sessions? Anyone want to step in and say how do we do it? So I have an input file, and I do have to say that check whether this person is active or inactive. So what possibilities you can think of? We got something from Vivek. Query worker. So how do you query your worker? So I mean, just in a walkthrough of your studio assembly, right? How do you think it looks like? So Vivek is saying query a worker and see whether he's active or not. But yeah, how do you do it in studio? Okay. So let me get to that.
For the
So
active,
now you have your. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, for the active and active, I think the other day you were showing some connectors and all.
Yeah, I mean, within the connectors, you do have. I mean, you can use workday fields there, right, directly. Like
Right.
if there is an active flag and things like that. But in Studio, you don't have that data, right? You don't have the data saying whether a person is active or not, right? First, you have to either get that data or you have to query workday asking whether this guy is active or not.
Right, you can get through a report or.
Yeah, you can get it through a report, right? That's the most easiest way. So if you're just looking for a person's active status or inactive status, so now I have my file read here, so that I'm pretty good here. So I have all my records stored into this eval. Now I have to see whether this employee ID is active or not. So I have my report already configured. So I'll call my report and check whether he's active or not. Let's go back to our integration in the tenant. Let me adjust that report a little bit. Have an active status flag. And what I'll do is I'll edit this report and add a prompt and a filter. I'll add a filter saying, anyone? Someone is not equal to. Instead of value specified in the filter, I'll say prompt the user for value. Prompt the user for value. And I'll go to default prompt. And then I'll insert the prompt in here. So I have my employee ID as a prompt now, right? Okay, the report is saved. If I run it, it will ask for me employee ID, right? Okay, but I'm not gonna run it. I'll do a web service URL. So view URLs, and then if I give an employee ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. If I do, so I have my report parameters. I do have my other things. So let me put my simple XML. That's easy. And then if you see this URL, right? This is your REST URL, or I can say this is how you call your report from your studio as well, right? And you see there's a prompt parameter here, right? You're basically passing an employee ID value there, right? And if the value exists, you get the data. And if the value doesn't exist, you'll see an empty XML, right? So that's a pretty simple way to do it. Let's just do it. So let me add in local out here. It's my local out. And then this local out will call to my already existing subroutine. Now within my report, I have my format equal to simple XML already, right? So I'll add my employee ID also within there. Okay. So now I'm saying pass a parameter of employee ID and also give it a format of simple XML. But I don't want to hard code this employee ID, right? So that's not the way you should do it. So instead of doing that, what we'll do is we'll go here, expressions, and we'll go file.employee ID, and we'll grab these props and we'll put it right into our report. Brackets open. Okay. So now whatever value you're getting out of this, it will go and sit here. So you're calling your report with that prompt. Okay. And I do also have to question from Vivek. Are these prop values are global in the project? Yes, the props are global. So you can use a prop that is already initiated in anywhere in the project. But in a sense, right? So consider this assembly as a flow. So the question, back up, the question Vivek asked is, if these prompts are global prompts, right? So I mean, these props are global prompts. So whether I can give, I can use this prompt anywhere within my entire assembly, right? Consider the assembly as a flow, right? So you have created your props here, right? So you can't use this file.employee ID props somewhere here because that's back, right? You can use it. You can use a prop after you have initiated. It's simple like any variable, right? Any variable you do in any code, right? You initiate it in your props here, and you can use it later, and you can use it global. That's pretty sure. Okay. Question again. Thank you. Now I have this, but my report is not only not getting any actives, it's just getting me whatever employee I given by. I may add a filter to my report. I'll say only get active. Filter. Somebody has to go on mute. Anita, can you just jump on mute real quick?
Krishna, you can mute too.
Yeah, I'll mute it.
Get it done. Yep.
Yep. She muted. Thank you. Okay. I have added a filter. Let me see. So I won't get any of these values, but let me again add these error logs here so I can use the same error logging functionality. Error log. Okay. So now I have my report coming out, and then I've given some values here: employee ID, job title, and status. So these are the values that are coming out of my report, right? So we already have an ML expression that's saying if an employee active status equal to 1, then pass it through to the next stage. Otherwise, just put it as an error, right? Error below here. Okay. So it will do our job, right? So we have our we are calling our report with an employee ID that we got from our file, and we are also checking whether his active status active or not. So typically, you'll use in scenarios where, for example, you have just some information from the file, but you are trying to call an API that you need more information from the tenant. You're trying to change this employee's position time type, but you don't have a position in your file. So that's where you go to the tenant and get the position ID and other stuff, right? But you have a primary key here, your employee ID, which you can use to query Workday to get all the other required details that you need. Or you might also need to check something before before creating a record for this worker or something like that, right? For example, right, you're getting a hire inbound, right? You have a hire record that's coming inbound. First thing you have to check is whether this position is available or not. Next thing, whether this position is already filled or not filled. That's it. That's the first thing you have to check. And then you have other elements to check whether this person has an SSN. Within the file itself, you have other details to validate, and then do a hire employee API. So in order to check that, you might have to use a couple of reports or query Workday a couple of times back and forth and get those data. I'm going to deploy it. Let's just run it through. Before doing that, I have to change my input file. Otherwise, everybody in my input file is not an actual living person. Input.csv, let's give a person here. David, find it. David Martinez 21. Question from Vivek. So Vivek is asking a question saying, can we have the delivered reports where we can call these reports and get the data? So delivered in the sense, do you mean standard reports that Workday delivers? Yeah, so you can't use a standard report. So the only difference between standard report and your advanced report is you have an option called, what's that called? Oh God. You have an option called enable as web service. So you don't have this web service options in your standard reports. Sorry, yeah, you have your web service options enabled in your advanced reports. You don't have these web service options enabled in your standard reports. So you can't really query a standard report from an external endpoint or a studio to get the data. Right. If you want to use a standard report, just copy standard report to custom report, and then change it to advanced and then use it. Okay, we have a David Martinez. He's our Batman today. I'm gonna put David Martinez. Let's get another guy. Let's get David speaker as well. So I have David Martinez. I don't have this guy here. I have this employee here. Saved my input file. I'm gonna now run my integration. number of errors equal to 1. So I do have to check my log. Hopefully not everything has errored out. This employee is inactive. Why? Should not get everyone as inactive. It's not right. Same thing, same active status. I mean, all employees are dummy, but I've changed it. Didn't I save it? Let's see our logs. I have a log here, so it should give me the values. I also put another log here within this after my report. So I'll see if my report is even giving me any data. Let's quickly run it. Quick this time. Ah, come on. Okay, I got my first employee ID, and its active status equal to 1. That's true. And the second guy is empty. I mean, that's understandable because the second person doesn't exist. Third guy also have active status equal to 1. So unless something let's do this. Let's do null or empty. I think null should do. I'm somehow my integration is not considering them as active, even though I should have done empty. Okay, let's see. Let's do empty. Let's do active status. So I want to pass something that's not empty. If it's empty, then I got out. Okay. I'm still debating whether it's empty or null, but we'll see in a minute. My gut says it's null, but I mean, in order to determine active or not, I don't have to really look for the active status, because my report already have an active status called active status, right? Whether it's an my report is already giving me only active, right? So I don't have to really check for active status. All I have to do is whether this message is empty or not. I can also do that, but it should give me based on active status. Still the same thing. Something is wrong. Oh, this is not reading it. I don't see my employee ID here, so something changed. You see, after my record output, I should see my log here. I should see my employee ID, job title, active status filled in. According to my logs, that should happen, right? According to my logs, I should see all this record data, but I'm not seeing it. So either my namespace got changed. This is my namespace. Oh, you know what? I removed my splitter. Oh, I removed my splitter, but I did not adjust my this thing. So it should have WB. So when you observe, right, guys have already might have observed it. So this is my report data. That's my output of my report. But I'm only looking for report entry / employee ID. I'm not looking for report data. I have to look for report data because previously I have a splitter. I did not have to, but now I have to. This is causing it. What? You better give me something. Reply to Workday. Good. Good. I do have an output.txt now. So, okay, you see, I have 2 employees in this. My 2 employees are in this output, my 2 active employees, and my other inactive employee should be in this error log. Yeah, employee is inactive, that is in this error log. I have to see why this other error message is coming. Somehow something's doing in this. So let's not worry about it for now. But I have my inactive employee in my error log. My active employees are in my output file. So we queried Workday, got data based on our input file, right? So that's one way to do it. That's like you're querying Workday. So what you're doing here is you're querying Workday for each employee ID, right? So you went for Splitter, you looked at each employee ID and you're querying Workday. So if you have like 3 employees, that's pretty easy. You are not putting any load on Workday, but if you have like thousands of employees and you want to check for every employee and you are getting like 10 or 15 fields from Workday, it might create some load issues. It might create some excess load on Workday and your integration will automatically slow down. Right? So you don't want to do it. So there is another way to do it is called hash map. So what we'll do is we'll call our report initially, get all the data into hash maps and store it in our memory. And then we use that memory to grab whatever data we need from. So instead of calling report, we'll call that hash map now. So which is already in our memory. So how do we do it is, I'll need some syntax help from my previous code. Go grab them. Okay, Java util. So I first have to initiate a hash map. The syntax for it is Java util. Same thing, it's the Java utility. New java.util.hashmap. So I initiated a hash map. I put it in p.hashmap. Okay. And then I call my report and I put the values of my hash map into into this hash map. So after my report, what I'll do is this, remove these 2, and I'll put this employee ID in here. Okay. So in order of events, right? So first you have to call your report, get all the data from your report, put it in a hash map, and you assign a primary key called is employee ID. So you can query based upon employee ID, and you're putting everything, the parts of 0, the entire message into your hash map, this hash map. So what this hash map is basically is you're putting this parts of 0, your entire message content, using memory key, so you can query back into this hash map value. Okay. So, but I have to call the report first. So I'll change an order of my events here. So what I'll do is I'll switch. I'll remove this. I'll put my call subroutine here. File out after my subroutine. Okay. Now when I call my subroutine, I'm calling my report first. So I call my entire report. So let me put an async. I need a splitter actually because because now I'm getting multiple records. I'm getting the entire worker information into one report. So I'm going to put my splitters back. XML. I'm going to put my eval splitters back into business. Control C. Control V. Move this a little bit. Okay, this needs a little organized. Okay, and then I don't need my report data here anyway because I have my splitter that's splitting that. Control S. Log. I'll remove my prompt from my report. I'll just put my simple XML, format simple XML. Got everything in here. Okay. Let's put this validations here. Let's put this here. So you have your employee ID, you have pasted everything in here. And then once that is done, you go to your file out, you call your, get your file from your doc iterator, and then you do the row splitting again, and then you get everything that you want from the file, but now you want your job title from your report, right? So what I'll do is I'll call my hash map now. Syntax. Now I'm calling my hash map. Let me put an eval, another eval right here. Hash map here. So now what I'm doing is I'm calling my hash map dot use the file dot employee ID. So whatever the employee ID I got from the file, use it and get my hash map value and put it in this variable. Okay. So now you have your value in this variable. Okay. So now once you have that in your variable, you can convert that variable into a message, right? So I'll use a copy. I'll access my variable p.e.node from my copy and then convert it into a message. And now once it's into a message, I can query that message. Okay. So I can put an eval here and I can query that message for active status. Okay, here. Active status equal to, still we are in our parts of 0 dot xpath. WT, I think I need it from somewhere from here, WT comma WT colon report data. Next, WD colon, I need my active status. Okay, where do I get it from? Okay, nope, this guy is very. My status. I'm looking for my XML tag. That's it. Similar way, I need my job profile as well. Props of, I should not have deleted this. Okay, now I have my validations like before. I still need my error logs. Send an error. Okay. So now we just change the structure of our assembly to behave differently. So what we're doing is we are calling our report first, getting every employee, every status, everything, putting in our hash maps. We initiated our hash map, pasted that value. And then once we read our file for each employee ID, we are calling that hash map. We are not calling the report again. We are calling that hash map. Excuse me. We're calling that hash map, and then we are accessing that hash map variable and getting values now. It's the same thing, but this is more performance reliable. But if you wanna, if you can also query one by one, it's just how many records you're processing. Really matters. Deploy. And I need to change our report to not to filter or prompt anyone. Just get it for out. Only thing I want to check is employee ID is not, because there might be some. This is a test tenant, right? I'm not sure. In that case, my hash map won't error out, because if it sees a blank employee ID, it doesn't know what to do. So run it. Now my report should give all my values, all my employees, 530 workers. Quickly gonna run my integration. Let's see if first times it's a charm. Usually I'm not successful first time, so just don't keep the hopes high. This will take a minute, because now it's calling, it's putting this hash map also, right? So it will just take a minute more. Yep, I'll repeat the hash map step again. Let's see if this even works. Okay, I think it worked. This output file. The same thing. I got my 2 employee IDs. I did not get my job title because I did not actually put it there. I did not put my values in there. But yes, it worked. So I'm just reiterating the hash map again. Okay, so consider hash maps as your I don't know if you do you have like something like your memory in your in PeopleSoft? Does anyone relate to anything? Lookup concept? Yeah, kind of, yes. It's a lookup concept. You're storing your data in your memory. Instead of accessing the tenant, you're accessing your memory to get values out of it, right? So first I have to create that lookup table, right? I have to create that lookup table, or I have to create that hash map. This is okay. So now what I'm doing is I have a syntax initially to basically initiate my hash map. I'm saying, okay, I'm creating a hash map called p.employee.hashmap, p.e.hashmap. Okay. Now my integration knows that I'm creating a hash map somewhere in the code. Now when I start doing this, what I'll do is I have my report, which is getting all employees, 513 employees. I have my splitter sending each employee through. So I have one employee going through splitter out. And then here in my eval, what I'm doing is first I'm capturing my employee ID, and then I'm creating that lookup table. And what the table primarily needs is a primary key, right? You have to have a key to access that table later. So what is your key here? Your key is employee ID. So you use your employee ID as your key. Okay. And then what is the message that you want to put in that lookup table, right? So you have your parts of 0.text. So something like, let's see, something like in your Excel, right? If you're creating a lookup table, come on. You're creating a lookup table. So I have my employee ID here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then what is your next thing is here, it's parts of 0.text. We have already seen what's parts of 0, that's the current message, right? So what's my current message? It's nothing but, show you in the logs. My current message is this. So this is my entire current message. Okay. So this employee ID is having this message, and my next employee ID goes down, and it has a new message now. Okay. So I'm storing my, be consistent. So this is how my hash map is created. It might not be visually right, but this is how it is created. So I have my primary key, my employee ID, and my message. So how I'm accessing my message, I'm also saying parts of 0.text. So put the entire message into your hash map, not just a value, the entire message. Primary key, my entire message. Primary key, message. And we go through each record using splitter, right? So you get each record, one record at a time, and then you create an entire hash map table. It will have all the 513 employees with all the 513 messages here. That you have done it here. So that's job done. So your hash map now has entire worker population. Okay. Now I'm going back to my, I basically completed this. This is nothing but this entire sub process. I'm going back to my file out. File out is coming to file in. I accessed my document that I have retrieved, file.input.xml, put it in a splitter, and then got each record. So I now got one record at a time. And now I'm checking. So I accessed my employee ID, file.employee ID. And in the next eval, I'm saying, create a variable, create any variable, and give it a name called p.employee.node. And what will be in that variable is access your hash map. So I'm accessing this entire hash map and getting the value associated with this employee ID. And this employee ID is the employee ID from the file, right? So let's take, I have an employee ID called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Now I'm using this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and saying query my entire hash map and get the value associated with this primary key, right? Because my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 doesn't exist in variable, in my hash map, my variable will return null. So I'm basically getting a null in this variable. But if I have 21013, if I pass this, here, my hash map will say, okay, I found a record for 21013. I'm putting this entire message into this variable. Now you have your variable now. What I'm doing is I'm creating a copy. In that copy, I'm accessing my p.employee node, which is nothing but your variable name. Okay, your input is your variable, your output is your message. And next steps you already know. I can access my variables. Sorry, I can access my message at this point using my parts of zero syntax, and then I do validation, write, aggregate, done. Questions. So this is this is a little bit tricky concept, but it's you should know it. It's very required.
Krishna, one quick question, like on the hash map, when we are querying the hash map, the return value is a variable. So where can we see that, like, what's the return type of that particular function you're calling for? Because some of the, like, parts of zero dot get expat or something, we are assigning to the props, but when it comes to hash map, we are assigning to the variable. So can't we assign it to directly to the props? Is it restricted that way?
Yeah, I don't. Technically, I haven't tried. So, but I don't think props can take an entire message into it. Variable can take it, but props can hold certain values. Like you're holding your employee ID in your prop. But I mean, you can also hold your employee ID in your variable. Yes, you are holding it in your props. Not sure whether we can do it or not, but my gut says props can only hold values. A variable can hold also messages.
So okay, we can find them in the help, right? So that's what.
Yeah.
And one more, like for hash map, like is there any limitations, like we should use, like in the sense, like the number of rows or something, or can we limit the number of rows that we need to load into the hash map? I know we can do it on the report side where we can filter the stuff, but is it like possible for you on the configuration, like when we are filling the data onto the hash map? Can we?
I mean, I can think of a different way, but hash. I don't know if hash map function has a memory limit. Let's see.
I think we can initialize the capacity of that. See here.
Yeah. Constructs an empty hash map with a specified initial capacity and default load factor. I mean, it should have. It's a Java expression, so there is an initial capacity load factor. There are a couple of parameters that we can use. Map whose mapping size. Yeah, Vivek, we're almost done. It's just doubts. If anyone has doubts, otherwise you can drop off. Yeah, I have to check on that. I mean, I have to check on that. But that is a Java expression, right? So whatever Java expressions can do, this can do it.
All right. And the second thing, like since we have APIs, we have, right? So we can also call the APIs like without like the job change or something, where we can call and then call the web services and provide these parameters to the web service and then kick off that web service and load the data also.
Yeah, that's actually I wanted to do that today, but we didn't save that change of API yesterday, right? So I have to redo it. So I thought we'll do it tomorrow. But that's the end of it. So you get your file, you already used it here, right? You basically created, used your parameters in here. So similar way, you have those parameters, you just put it in your API call. So it's not hard coded. You input that in your API call and you call Workday. Hit it.
Okay.
Monday. Yeah. We'll see it tomorrow. We'll see the API call tomorrow. Monday.
All right, sure.
Yep. Any other questions, anyone? So we have covered the hash maps. We have covered how to use MLs that we have already did. We have covered how to get a file, read a file, compare the file with a report, and see certain things of it. Monday, we're going to see APIs. So we're going to call maybe change job again. I'm going to prepare that API before we're doing it. We're going to use it in Studio and we're going to call it. And I'll also go through most of the palettes. I'll not use them. I mean, this is like mostly what we regularly use. I'll just go through, sneak through all the palettes and walk through the functionalities that I know of. And that's it. And then maybe another 1 or 2 days, 1 day or 2 days, we'll go through the remaining other missing things in Workday. And then what I was thinking is maybe we take a couple of days. Maybe after Wednesday, maybe after Monday and Tuesday, we take Wednesday, Thursday off, and also connect on Saturday. And before that, I want you guys to start doing this. And if you have any questions or anything you want to discuss, we can go through it in a Saturday section. So I'm thinking something like that. So you guys, I know we're all busy with our daily works. We need some more time. So you guys have that time, and then we can connect later, and then we can discuss more on what issues you're facing and things like that. Okay, that's how time is right now. So we'll have a session Monday and Tuesday, and if something changes, we'll talk on Tuesday. Anyways.
Oh, and like in this Workday Studio, so where can we start learning about all the splitters and all? Like, can you show me like where to start and how to read the stuff like here? Like help section.
Oh, help?
Yeah.
Help content. Workday. I think Workday Studio assembly guide, and then use assembly transports, or view of assembly transports, out transports, what's in. So each palette has its own description, things like that, and common components, FTP, put integration message. So, I mean, if you have question in any palette, I would go search for it. But I mean, this documentation should have every palette that's possible. CS with XML. It has description, and if you click on it, it will give you examples and things like that, how to use it. Go through. But once you start doing it, right? Starting is create a project. Start with start here or Workday in. So this is your first step. Create your services within that, and then do all of this. I mean, you can actually import this. Once you log into a GMS implementation, you can import any of these studios. So you can read through them.
Okay.
Just right click, import.
Oh, okay. So it will into your project.
Yeah, right click, import, and then it will come to your project, and then I can just open it.
Okay.
Yeah. And then our project is INT 404. So if you want, you can import it, and then you can go through it.
Sure. So can you I think we are done for today, right?
On the hash map?
Yeah, like the class session wise.
I did not get it. When we have the
today
next
done,
session?
right?
Yeah. I mean, today we're done. Actually, it's already 2 hours.
Right. And if you have a time, like, can we see at my like assignment? Like, I just want to
Yeah,
know.
sure. Yeah. Yep. Let's go through it.
I just want to know if I want to make any other changes. Like, I used a different web service, like something a simple one, not the job change or something.
Okay. Do you want to share or did you upload?
I uploaded as part of the advanced report.
Reporting?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think here it's showing 0.
Okay. So hold on. Batch 1. So you are
I sent it.
see.
It's as part of outbound EIB.
Yeah. Okay. This one maybe.
Yeah.
Yep. Got it.
It has 2 attachments. The first one has all the different type of transformations, and the second one is web service, like which I used.
I mean, anyone, others, if you want to drop off, you can. We'll just go through assignments, and if you have any questions, we'll see. Okay.
Come down.
I'm just open it in.
So here, I'm just trying to change an employee W4 data. So I just went to the payroll related web service. So, and that particular payroll, I just looked at what are the security permissions we need to get for that particular API.
Okay.
So if you, that's the one, like, it's a request response and then populated with the required values. And after submitting it, I got a WID WID. And then after that,
Okay.
it added a new row with 3/1/2018 where the number of allowances and additional tax amount has been changed for that.
Yeah.
So before that, I had a screenshot where if it go at the top, she had only one row of
One. Okay. Yeah. Which API is this? They're all W4 tax actual.
The web API is in this one, right side. You see put payroll federal W on the right side.
Yep.
So I use that particular web. It's a kind of putting, like, updating the values.
Yeah, updating the values. So you asked, right? You can use the same request. You can put it in your right here, or I would say put it better in your Excel. We didn't see your XLT component yet in here. No, yeah, there is an XLT component. We see here, but what you can do is you can create an XLT, and then you can paste your web service request, the request that you have configured right now, put it in here, entire API, and then just replace these values using parameters
with the
or props you have initiated. We haven't seen how to use props in XML, but if you want to try, we have seen how to use props in right here, right? You know, at the rate, we have to do cloud brackets and put out props there. So you can actually copy paste this entire thing into your right, and then just replace this employee ID value using at the rate cloud brackets props.employee ID or something. And then after your splitter, your each variable or each parameter should go and sit in that, and then it will call Workday API. So that's how you do it. We're gonna see. I haven't showed you how to call it yet, so that's still for the class. if you want to try, you can. It's Workday Out SOAP is what we use.
Okay.
And then you just put your application here. So what application is it? Payroll.
Payroll.
And then version v30.0. And then you connect your right here to this.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that way.
It builds the request XML, everything there.
Yeah, within here you will build the request XML.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Instead of text, right? Your entire schema. You'll have your entire API.
Okay.
And then where it's asking you, for example, here it's asking you employee ID or worker ID, right? You'll do this.
Props there.
You'll put your employee ID or something that you got it from.
So that like the particular employee ID will be substituted there and then present on the wall in the SOAP.
Yeah. Yeah. At the end, if you put a log after this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you should see what you're seeing here, just with the new values.
You will see the substituted values, right? Like
yeah, you'll see the new values in there. That's it. The API structure should not change. Nothing should change. You should just see the replaced values.
Okay. So actually, for security wise, I have to go to the security view security domains by functional area and then go to that particular stuff and then see. That's the one, right? If that's the one.
That's the way. But you can do view security for securable item, and then your W4. Okay, put right. Put. Yeah, you should have your API here. You should have, when you search for your API, what's the API? Payroll Federal W4. Yeah, put Payroll Federal W4 web service.
Oh, we just need to type the web service name so it will pop up.
Yeah, and it will show you the domains that it is defined by, and you can access your domains directly from here. Edit security policy.
Security for security.
That's an easy way to do it.
Okay.
You go to the same page, add.
I use the Delver group security groups there. So I just added myself the payroll administrator US or something, but I did not add anything new there.
Yeah. Usually we'll create an ISU and ISSG, system user and system group, and put the system groups in there rather than users.
Okay.
That's the recommendation.
Right. And there is one more requirement, one more stuff like which I did it. So on the 2 days back, we worked on the XSLT where the formatting wise, it's something wrong or something.
Yeah.
So the reason for that is so in the requirement, we have to populate the address and fields and all, right? Address and in some the state is not present in like other countries like London or something. So there is no state value. It's the XML value itself is blank, and it's not coming onto the output itself. I mean to say
but your pixel length. If it's null, your pixel length should populate with the 2 character or something, right?
Yes, I agree. But the problem is that, in the output XML generated by Workday itself, there is no tag of state itself.
So you are using template matches, right?
Yes.
I've seen you have used everything, like you have created templates for everything.
Right.
Right. So when you do it, you're looking for the template for the text path in the template, and you don't have that value, right?
Exactly.
And now your XSLT is, you're not going to the next step. So you're looking for the template and you're skipping. Okay, I don't have this template. I'm skipping. I'm going to the next row or next record.
That's right.
Right. Instead of looking for templates, I would say So instead of creating templates for each tag or each row, you can do a template match on the initially, and when you do a for each, you can just print XSL value of select directly. So that way, if you don't have a value, your fixed length function should take care of the spaces, because you are still passing that value. Let me show have. So you did template matches for everything. And if the template is not matching, it is basically skipping this record entirely.
That's true.
Right. That should not happen. Instead, you can okay. Desktop. Instead, I would do something like this. So I match my template on the top.
Okay.
In this case, my template is header, and I have a template body, which is called somewhere here. Yeah, I don't remember this code, but yeah, for each report data, report entry, what I'm doing is I'm doing position, and then I'm going for my position, right? If I don't have this position, this function should automatically take care of putting all the 50 spaces.
Oh, okay, okay.
Because I'm eventually saying, give me a value there. At least it should consist of 50 characters in length. Either it's spaces or put a value and then add spaces or trunk.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I think
Because templates, if it don't match it, it will skip that value of
selection. Yeah, it will not see, and then it will skip that one. So
yeah.
Right, so that's a limitation with the templates, it seems like.
You have to write some smart if you are using that. If you don't find that something, you have to put a value in there. You have to say if and else condition for each template, and then say if you don't find it. I mean, that's too big. It's too deep in the logic.
Right. So that's the one, and then I used the other like document transformation in the assignment, and then I put my screenshot also. So in the one you open the assignment in the solutions which I provided, so it has a 3 transformations. The first one is with the like there's a custom report transformation.
Okay.
The first one is custom report transformation, where it's like using the delivered stuff. And then second one is this one is like with the XSLT, and then the third one is document transformer with the XTT, and then
ETB.
Yes, and there is as attachment present there inside. That seems like it's not allowing you to download, but I'm not sure what's going.
Yeah, that's fine. You got your outputs, right? Nothing. You didn't find anything suspicious. Everything looks good.
Right, it looks good to me for now. And I just even worked with this ETV and then XTT, and then I checked with function, and then I checked even other stuff like separators, and then align left or something. I use left.
Yeah, align left, align right. Yeah.
I did a couple of things, and then I tested it, and it worked for me. So
yeah, as long as it's working.
So that's it to our assignment. So I just want to know this the palettes and all, how to do also. Is there any way that I can start like simple stuff with the studio?
Yeah, I would say start with your Hello World. Go to your welcome.
Okay.
Okay, and you open it. Come on. Yeah. There's no welcome. So
So So even I need to
Yeah.
play around with the connectors, like with delivered connectors, which I did not get a chance or something.
Yeah, the core connector workers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will be interesting. Yeah. Yeah, you have to look when you're working for a core connector worker, right? You have to concentrate on your effective dates and entry dates, and you have to see when you change that, what's happening. That's the behavior. That's very critical behavior for core connector. Like what data parameters are giving what transactions, how is my transaction log affecting my core connector worker output.
Okay, I got it. I just need to learn like how the dates or like when it's updating, how it's updating, what to extract.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
So
give it a try and maybe this weekend.
we'll talk on Monday or something anytime.
Yeah, in this.
And when you go to
Okay.
you have your Hello Cloud sample, or if you want to payroll interface sample, click on it. It will.
It'll ask you to start creating the project,
Yeah, you can directly create.
I think it's already there's this type.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not allowing. Okay.
Something is not right.
So it's already there. Seems like in the project.
Regulated. And all let you today.
Sorry.
Delete it. Next. Then the linear workspace. Just open it.
Okay.
That you have nice for it. What does it do? What is it doing it? Out of video uploading and things like that. Okay. This contents on updating. If you don't select it, you're just soft deleting it.
Okay.
Yes. So you want that to import, so you get it.
All right.
All right.
Your voice is breaking, Krishna. I don't know something wrong.
Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, I can hear. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to repeat something?
No, actually, I just saw that I need to start from the Hello World and then start working on that. That's what you said.
Yeah. Yeah. Go with the Hello World, and then you have your payroll interface things.
And I sent an email to you last week, something like, I just need some of the navigations where, like, if I want to learn about the payroll, like, how to run a payroll in the existing tenant, what are the stuff. So I think it might be in the support community in the community. So I requested you like to provide those screenshots or something. Usually you provide the HTML file with that stuff, right?
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll get that for the entire payroll setup.
Yeah, just please do that favor so that I can start reading. Actually, I have a I was working on the payroll for last 7 years. I just want to learn more into the payroll. So.
Yep. Let's see. Sure, we'll do it. I have to get it somehow, somewhere it is there. Complete payroll. Payroll.
For USC. It's for UK.
This is for UK, right? You want for US?
Yes. Yeah.
I'll get you the payroll processing, the entire thing.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
So I can run the payroll in the existing tenant, right?
Yeah, I think you can. Just
Okay.
create your own. You might have already created your own pay group, right?
No, I did not create the pay groups and all. I just created a couple of employees, but I never created a supervisory org for a pay group or something. So
Let's actually do it in a pay group. Create a pay group,
mhm.
and once you have that pay group, run it only for that pay group, so you don't
Mess with other.
run for the entire GMS.
Okay, gotcha. So will it be in that particular document or?
It should be in that payroll. You know how to create pay group, right? Create pay group is the task. That's it.
Okay, so in that I just add all those employees, or I just assign
Yeah.
them.
You just assign a couple of employees to the pay group,
Mhm.
and you can run it, play with that pay group, and run for that payroll for that pay group itself.
Okay, sure. I will take it from there. Okay, thank you so much, Krishna.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Bye.
Talk to you guys on Monday.
Yep.
Any other questions, anyone? As the former participants? Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.